3, 2, 1. Talking with my buddy here, TY Tang. Thank you for doing this, bro. We are going to discuss basketball, particularly the Netflix special, the last dance. So we're going to discuss the first 4 episodes. Now, this guy right here is the best person to talk to in terms of what I want to happen in the show. Kasi I want everyone who's gonna watch this a better appreciation of what's happening as a player and then as a coach. So TY, appreciate this, man. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for inviting me.
Ayun.
First time ko actually
Mag-podcast.
mag-podcast.
Yes.
I guess it's interesting.
Oo naman. Tsaka mahaba-habang kwentuhan to. Okay, The Last Dance first 4 episodes. So the first 4 episodes, we were more or less introduced into the first 5. So we're going to discuss the first 5. So it's Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Phil Jackson, and Jerry Krause. Now, we'll more or less skip on the MJ part kasi if you do not know who Michael Jordan is, you're an idiot. So we'll discuss the 4 other protagonists and antagonists of the show. So first off is I want to know your thoughts on how underappreciated Scottie Pippen was. Based on at least, I'm very happy that at least the second episode, diba? The second episode they gave due credence to Pippen's credibility, his skill set, his contribution to the team. And I mean, so let's go as a player. If you have a teammate that's like Scottie Pippen, how easy is it gonna be to create opportunities for winning? I mean, what does he put on the table if you have a player like Scottie Pippen?
Well, kasi Scottie Pippen is a very versatile player, meaning he works both ways inside the court, offense and defense. On the offensive end, he can orchestrate for you. He can be a spot-up shooter for you, decent spot-up shooter for you. He can be moving off the ball, being able to attack and create on his own at the same time as can also create for you, right, on an isolation plays depending on matchups. In that sense, it just makes the whole game a lot easier for you in terms of your offense, just because you have somebody who can basically do everything for a team. Okay, and then on the defensive end, there's still a lot more things that he can do because he can basically guard all positions from a point guard all the way to a center if need be at that point in time. And then he can, he's very mobile, very agile, meaning he can help and recover right away to his defenders. He can be able to swipe a ball, steal, and then go on a fast break on his own. He can get rebounds, those loose balls. He's very aggressive at that as well. So having somebody like that inside the court would make will really clear everything for somebody like Michael Jordan to just focus on the things that he needs to do in order for them to win the game. And that being said, I think Michael Jordan already mentioned that during the Last Dance, if there's somebody, Pippen is his favorite teammate, just because Pippen was there all throughout his championships.
Tama. Ako, I like the part wherein you said that most of the things that you mentioned were like the intangibles, diba? Were like the intangibles, like court vision, yung basketball IQ niya was really high, especially on the defensive end. And then when it was time for him to execute, he was both a threat to offense and to defense, and it helps spread the floor when you have someone like that. And then for like, what are the other things? What do you think are the other things that he put into the dynamic of the Chicago Bulls, given the 2-3-peat campaigns? Na, I mean, ito lang yun . he was when he didn't play, 'di ba yung na-injure siya, 'di ba? It's either he was
Yeah.
injured or he just didn't want to play. 'Di ba? These are the series, this is the part where medyo mataas yung losing streak nila, 'di ba? It
Right.
was it was validation for his purpose. It was validation for his contributions to the team. Um if you have someone, I mean, as a player in your career and now as a coach, in Philippine basketball setting, like sabihin natin, ilagay natin yung span ng magka-batch naman tayo eh. So at least sino yung nakikita mong medyo may Scottie Pippen-ish sa Philippine basketball scene.
As a whole,
Oh, as a
ano to,
whole.
sa pro level, sa college level,
Sige, kuha tayo ng college tsaka pro.
I'd say sa college level today, pwede natin sabihin siguro yung doon siguro sa champion team, sabihin na natin sa San Beda, sa NCAA, sa amin. This year, meron silang ano ang pangalan niya?
Okay lang yan. Pagka hanapin natin sa roster. Pero during the time that you were playing for Lasal, sinong sa tingin mo may ganong versatility during that time?
Yung versatility sa amin, I would say, siguro nung panahon ni Mike, si Mike and si William Wilson.
Oo nga, no. I was
Mike,
ako more of Willie Wilson. Medyo Willie Wilson. Willie Wilson could play almost any position.
Diba? So parang meron siyang Scottie Pippen through Willie, who basically does everything, whether it's on offense or on defense. At the same time, being the cool cat, being the facilitator, he can just focus on one thing, which is basically facilitating and directing everybody on the offensive end. Just like with Michael Jordan, all he needs to do is focus on, being able to make sure we're on top of things. We're always in the lead throughout the game. And if not, my only job or Michael's only job was to find ways how to figure out to win the game. Andun basically yung revolvement ng trabaho niya.
Yep.
Si Pippen, in a way, he's the support to that Michael Jordan, which what he does is basically do things easier so that Michael will have more energy for them to win the game. Most especially towards the end. Kasi, like what you said, nawala si Pippen. And I believe when you play in an NBA game, there's no such thing as butaw yan or mahinang team yan. Everybody at that level is elite. Everybody in that level of competition can win any single game, whether you're playing against the Bulls or it's just the odds that are a little bit lower in terms of probability, but it doesn't mean that you can't win games. Diba? Kahit dito sa college, ganun din.
Very true.
So in that sense, ang laking bagay na nagagawa lahat ni Pippen yun during the time that he was playing. And I think it was a bit evident naman. And we have to give credit to him, especially during the time that he was absent on the floor. Hindi niya nagawa yun for the team, and Michael needed more energy in terms of not only on facilitating, not only on scoring, but trying to lead both on offense and in defense. More specifically, when he needed to guard the best player of the other team, he had no choice, but he had to more energy, and that's hard. You have to double your effort. Aside from doubling your effort, without somebody reliable on offense as well who can create. And I would say probably Scottie was the second best leading scorer in their team at that time. And you just took that away. That's maybe about 12 to 15 points a game. Where would you get that? And knowing that that's not around, then the other team's game plan or strategy would probably be more focused on Michael, which would give him not only to double his effort in terms of trying to figure out how to score, but probably triple or quadruple that because nawala pa yung isa mong second best in terms of scoring. So yun yung impact na nawala during that time.
And that basically answered my follow-up question. Kasi my follow-up question was gonna be, diba, as a coach, how do you fill in the void of someone like that, diba? I mean, if you have a player who has those capabilities, and for example, you have an important game or kahit na anong game during the season yan, then all of a sudden, for some reason, he's injured or he couldn't play, diba? That creates a vacuum within the rotation of the team. Diba? And then as a coach, how do you, diba, more or less, let's add on to that. Like as a coach, how do you create adjustments given that situation?
Right. Agree. Sorry, what's that again?
Ayun, parang for example, you have someone like that. Okay, that was my follow-up question. Parang medyo nasagot mo na siya. Like, these are the types of players that create opportunities for you. Now, as a coach, how do you fill in the void when a vacuum is created, when one of your players is like, you have a major contributor in your rotation and then all of a sudden he couldn't play. It's either injured siya or, diba, parang may sakit, okay, hindi pinayagan ng school, diba? So how do you, ano yung mga minor adjustments?
The minor adjustments are towards the game, but definitely if you're saying nawala yung second best player mo, the real adjustment is the preparation before you get into the season. Everybody should have that kind of mentality wherein everybody must be prepared. All right, this is a team game. It needs collective effort from everybody, and it can't be just one person, diba? And given that situation, the minor adjustment is to find somebody who would be fitting to play depending on who your next game would be, diba? So if let's say we're playing against a bigger team and a slower team, then we find somebody in the lineup who's probably more fit to play against that kind of team. If it's a quicker team or a smaller team, like they want to run up and down the floor, then we might find somebody who's more versatile to play that position. That's the minor adjustment. But again, I believe that more than the minor adjustment, it should have been done before the start of the season. Everybody should be ready for whatever happens, and everybody should be prepared all throughout the season.
Okay, that was yun. That was really good. That was really good. Then let's shift.
Sorry.
Go.
Ipasok ko lang. It was Calvin Oftana. Yan yung NCAA.
Calvin Oftana. The guy.
It's a shame on me. It's a shame on me na hindi ko ito naalala.
Okay lang yan. Beda naman yun.
Siguro na ano na rin. Siguro na itong long period of lockdown.
Naman. It takes its toll on people, bro. Ganun
But
talaga.
I think it was Evan Niele, the point guard, who was able to facilitate everything for the team. But at the same time, it was Calvin who was able to do all the different intangibles for their team.
Kumbaga, he was Mr. All Around.
Siya yung nakakagawa ng lahat, and that's the reason why I guess he was the MVP.
And then, if you can, kung meron tayo pro level.
Pro level. All right. Sige. Pro level, let's go to sa Ginebra. I would say Scottie Thompson. Ayun, magkapangalan na sila.
Scottie
Scottie
Thompson, Scottie
Thompson,
Pippen.
di ba? He does everything for that
Yeah.
team. And kahit sino whether it's LA, whether it's Brownlee, di ba? He
Kevin
does
Brownlee
all
to,
the
no? Tama ba?
si
Si Brownlee?
Justin
Justin
Brownlee,
Brownlee.
yung
Okay.
import. So I'm saying Scottie does everything just to make all the other players focus on whatever they have to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi na sila nahihirapan kasi kung may kailangan kayo pabantay, bigyan natin kay Scottie.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? On offense naman, basta Scottie, galaw ka lang ng galaw, hahanapin ka namin. Napakadali ng trabaho. Tapos, para kay Scottie, tira lang kayo. Ako na bahala sa
bahala.
rebound.
Totoo.
Hindi siya ganun kalaki, pero nakukuha niya lahat ng rebound. So,
like
the
rare games that I get, the rare times I get to watch the PBA, I'm like, this Scottie Thompson guy. Medyo,
diba?
masipag to.
So, as a player, it just makes the whole game a lot easier for you when you have a teammate like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, hindi mo na siya kailangan i-motivate pa eh. You know, there are some players na when you're playing, like for example, as a player dati, during my senior year, there's a lot of expectations from me to lead, right? And part of me leading the team is not through inside the court. It's my actions towards my teammates. It's my energy.
Yeah.
It's my vocal leadership in a way on how I can motivate them and drive everybody together in one direction.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have somebody like that, it helps also for a leader like me at that time because in a way, instead of me trying to put more effort and trying to put everybody together, just the mere fact that you have somebody like ganyan, Scottie Thompson or Scottie Pippen that they can look up to and you know sometimes it's not even through words just because they see him diving off that floor for that loose ball, getting that crucial rebound, getting that one last stop, diba? It makes everybody in the team stay together na. Just by that, and it makes a lot easier for the leaders like Michael, diba? Or me during my last year because he already did what I was supposed to do, which makes it a lot easier for me or for Michael in that sense.
And then in terms of doing the other intangibles, we're gonna shift now to the other part of the big threes, which is big three, which is Dennis Rodman. Now, in terms of doing the scrappy work or going for loose balls, diving in, I mean, sobrang daming highlight reels ni Dennis Rodman that he ended up in the crowd because of his aggressiveness and athleticism and just pure hustle. Diba? I mean, how do you, I mean, kasi ako, for me, Rodman is like mas maraming attention and it was exhibited during the documentary na parang a lot of people put more attention on Rodman's extracurricular activities outside the court that they neglected how much of a basketball genius he was. Diba? Medyo like he was very eccentric, he was such a character. Kumbaga, during his time he was such a character and people didn't really put too much emphasis on how he played. Now, as a player and as a coach, like having someone like Rodman in your team, who's not after scoring, who's not after the limelight or the spotlights. He's very competitive and how much, I mean, as much as you can explain to people who are gonna watch this who are either basketball fans or who don't know anything about basketball, how important is it to get into a certain position to get offensive and defensive rebounds, boxing out, defending, being a defensive stopper, and then being that gel that will provide. I think we answered a part of that with the Scottie Thompson analogy, pero in terms of the other things that are not really flashy on especially on television, like boxing out, screening out, providing screens, locking down on big men or on power forwards, lalo na sa position ni Rodman. He was 6'8", 6'9". He was shutting down bigger men. The hustle, the intensity on both the defensive end and on getting rebounds. Diba? How important are those things in the dynamic in terms of team dynamics?
For me kasi every player in a team has its own role and responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important when building a team, you try to picture what you want your team to be. And in that sense, by you'll be able to figure out which players you would want to be part of that team, so that when you start playing or when the tournament comes in, we don't have um, 5 shooters inside the team, but nobody can facilitate, diba?
Mm-hmm.
So then, when you've figured that out and you've built your team, you made your choices. Now, going to your question, na how how much of an impact does Dennis Rodman play?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still remember nung bata ko, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan kasi. I'm really a Jordan fan ever since. So, nung in-announce nila na they wanted Rodman to be part of the team, parang at that time, all I know Rodman was like a freak. Alam mo yun, freak
He was the
outside of
guy
it.
with
So,
colored hair.
yung ganyan. So, parang I didn't really know if he would be able to fit in, because Jordan, Pippen, and the Bulls at that time are really locked in to winning championships after championships, year in, year out. And then here comes a guy that you're trying to get, who's just clowning around, all right, trying to get all the attraction, media attention, and everything. And yun yung nasa isip ko back then. So parang sa akin, no, let's not get that as a fan, di ba? Let's get somebody else, but not Rodman, because I don't think he's gonna fit. But then, I guess they proved everybody wrong that, Rodman can play to its role if only everybody is in the same page.
Yeah.
And I think, yun nga, as the Last Dance episodes showed you guys, it was really how Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, and maybe Scottie Pippen played that part or that role in how they can put Rodman into their game as a positive thing rather than a negative thing. Diba? They try to help each other out on how that would be. And hindi ko pa nasasagot yung question mo.
Yeah, it turns out din naman pala si Rodman. Rodman apparently has that winning mentality. I mean, he just, I think he probably just needed a Michael Jordan, a Scottie Pippen, a Phil Jackson to alam mo yun, to align him and to
Maybe,
provide him that
yes.
focus. Diba? To
Right.
provide him that focus, and ito lang din yun eh. For people who have little parang you just watch basketball, okay? In a team dynamic, there will always be the big boys and there will always be the supporting cast, and there has to be someone, one or at least one or two people who keeps everyone together.
Right.
Diba?
And answering your question kay Dennis Rodman, how much of an impact he gives the team. Normally, as fans or viewers of the game, we look at the scorers, we look at the shooters, all right, and we look at those people who can really create for their teammates well. So basically, everything that I said are on the ball. Yung may hawak ng bola. Kasi nandoon yung action. But what probably most viewers wouldn't know is that the action really happens off the ball.
That is
wala
true.
Yung bola. And that is I believe, where most of the physical aspect of the game happens as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for Dennis Rodman to give a huge impact in that Bulls team, the championship Bulls team that time, he was basically giving more um, energy for, kumbaga, he's sacrificing himself for Scottie and Michael
Mm-hmm.
to have so that they can focus more on some other things. Like sinabi ko na sa iyo na si Scottie gave Jordan the leeway to focus on scoring and
Yeah.
leading. Now, Rodman came in. He gave Pippen and Jordan to focus on more things that they need to focus on, just because now Rodman can also defend the top priority of the other team.
Oh, like
that
the
they're
number one
playing
offensive
against.
threats ng ibang nakalaban nila, Rodman was assigned to
He was
guard.
assigned to Shaq, to
Yeah.
Karl Malone. He
Oh,
was
Carl
assigned
Malone.
to, diba? So there were a lot of other factors that he was able to do to make Jordan and Pippen's life easier.
Mhm.
And this is not only to the two of them, but also for the head coach, which is
Yeah.
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
Diba?
Diba?
Getting that's without saying na Rodman has been getting into the minds of the opponent that he's guarding.
That's true.
So malaking factor yung mga nagagawa niya. It just so happened that I think before he got to the Bulls, yun nga, he was clowning around it.
Yes.
Whatever team he got into, parang nobody can really put him in a positive thinking wherein he can put his contributions well.
Mhm.
And it was only when he got to the Bulls, I don't know how they did it, but yun nga, they did it. And that led them to win another
like
few
3 more
championships.
championships. Oh.
Yeah, just
Now we're gonna shift towards. So this is a very good segue from Rodman to the coaching, and now we'll transfer to the other part of our first five, which is Phil Jackson. Now, as a coach, uh, in as much as you can share, like what kind of a coach are you? Because there are coaches wherein I am the coach. I want to put pieces. I'll create the pieces together. Okay, I'll do it my way. See, Phil Jackson naman, I mean the way I saw it, he was already given pieces of the puzzle already. Then he just made them work together. Diba?
right. As a coach right now, I cannot really answer that question, no? Kasi I haven't been a pro coach yet, wherein I can just trade people around, get people that I really want to and interested in to play for our team. In the collegiate level, especially right now in CSB, I don't really have
Control over
control over yung talent because normally in our country they all play for the UAAP first, just because I guess they say that it's more prestigious.
Yeah.
Second is there's right now more supporters, more funders to help them out, diba? So wala akong control dun eh. All we do is right now as a coach, we try to look for the raw talents that are willing and interested to learn and at the same time play for us here in CSB.
Yep.
And then what we do is we try to develop and we try to improve them day by day. And we're hoping that even without the top gunners or the top recruits, we're still going to be able to provide some products for the school moving on into their personal careers, which is hopefully they get to the pro
To
someday.
go to the pro level.
So yun yung ano ko, yun yung coaching philosophies namin in terms of player development. But in terms of my own coaching philosophy, I'm not really the Coach Carter type na authoritative. Gawin mo yan, basta gawin mo yan. I'm more of the collaborative. I want to hear out opinions of my players first. I want to make sure we're all in the same page. If not, then you can discuss things openly with me. I would hear you out. But in the end, we should find a resolution. We cannot just leave things open wherein anong gagawin natin? Ikaw may gusto ka, ako may gusto ako, hindi natin. So I'm more of that collaboration type na let's put things into perspective. What's your angle? What's my angle? And then after we've discussed things, then we should find a resolution, find one answer that we would both agree in, and then move forward. So, and aside from that, I try to motivate my players in a positive way. There are things sometimes lang na, syempre, there are consequences that we have to make. They have to make based on certain things. But I think mostly I try to be positive on how I approach them because I still believe, especially in the kids today or the generation today, I wouldn't say na they're less tougher than the generations back then. Kasi dati generation natin, gawin mo, ayaw mo gawin, palo ka or something. This time around, it's not more of that. It's more of they want to know reasons as to why.
Yes.
So if you get to explain to them why they're supposed to do it, why they're supposed to act like this or like that, they do it. It's the approach lang. It's a different kind of approach. But at the end of the day, when you get to translate your message or you get to relay your message in a very clear manner, then they pick up and they follow, they challenge themselves as well without you needing to motivate them every single day. Diba? Nandun na rin sa kanila yung motivation factor na kailangan namin to. It's because whether it's for our own personal development or whether it's for the betterment of the whole team, I play my role, I play my responsibility in that sense. So that's my how I coach.
Diba? And now in terms of so that is the coaching part. We'll probably discuss a little bit more about that. But let's finish the first five. Si Jerry Krause. Jerry Krause being the GM. Now, as a player, do you like Jerry Krause? And then as a coach, how much do you like and not like the guy? You know, we'll give our opinions on the guy.
I can't really judge because I don't know the person personally. Okay, we just basically
based
knew
na
the
lang on
person
the decisions that he made for based on the documentary, based on the decisions that he made to create that lineup.
Creating that lineup, we have to give it to him. No, before it was clear in the documentary that before Michael Jordan arrived, all right, he was able to make some moves, diba? And then once he got to Michael, he was the one who basically
Put the pieces together.
Diba? Put the pieces together of hiring Phil, and then eventually making Phil the head coach because he knew about the concepts that Tex Winter had.
Yep.
Diba? So he was the one who basically had the vision, and basically he was the one who had the vision and was able to execute kung ano yung plano niya. Diba? Nobody had that bigger frame or bigger picture except for him. And in that time, we should, give where credit is due. Because for me, if not because of him, I don't think I mean, I couldn't say right now, di ba? Baka pag iba nangyari, iba yung, baka mag-champion pa rin. Or baka iba mangyari. But right now, kung ano yung ginawa niya was a championship execution or was a championship decision. Given that Michael saying the players, all right, are a majority of what the whole championship was about. I believe in that. It's really the players. Without Jerry Krause or without the management being able to decide on things, because remember, the players at that point in time and the head coaches don't really have much decision making powers. It was really the managers and the owners at that time. When you're a coach in the NBA level, you coach what is there. They'll give you the players, you coach what is there. Okay? A little lang siguro in terms of your perception or your decision kung sino gusto mo at sino ayaw mo. When you're a player at that time, it was only up until when probably Michael was Michael, then he had decisions on whether who he wants and who he doesn't like. Diba? So I would say at the first part of the three-peat, I would give Jerry Krause a lot of credit. But my frustration as not a coach, not a player, my frustration as a fan, diba? Tuloy-tuloy yung second peat na three-peat, and then why do you have to just cut it out? Diba? Why don't you just let it die on its own? And I've read Phil Jackson's book, The 11 Rings. I read another book of him. And sinasabi naman niya early on that nagkaroon na sila ng conflict. Right, even the first second peat started. A second three-peat started. He was already in an argument with Jerry Krause with certain things. All right, and then it blew up when Jordan also had his own personal arguments with Jerry Krause. And
yun
then
nga,
it
parang
grew
naging,
more.
Naging predominant
isa-isa
theme siya eh. Naging predominant, it became one of the more predominant themes during the documentary, and this is probably it was apparent during those days, during those times, and then it just made more sense or nagkaroon lang ng konting clarity because of the documentary. But this was a very, very pressing issue back then, na parang they were winning, they were getting things done, and then Jerry was always there to either mess things up or say something that would. Ito yun eh, parang I was really curious. I was really curious what were the specific things that Jerry was doing that annoyed the players. Kasi MJ was annoyed, Pippen was annoyed. Di ba nakita mo yung part na they beat the Detroit Pistons. They were dancing on the plane. Then Scottie was like, "Jerry, sit down. Jerry, sit down." Diba? I mean, hindi ko rin, there's probably more stories na hindi natin alam. Pero if the head coach, your number one, number two players don't really like you. Diba? There are certain words that are coming out of your mouth, or you're already discussing future decisions that will affect their careers, that parang feeling ko nawala yung communication along the way. Diba?
I think the communication was there. The problem was they couldn't resolve things. With yung kay Phil Jackson, in his book, there were a lot of decision makings wherein he doesn't agree anymore with kay Jerry, because I would say that's really an environment of a champion team. More and more egos would be involved. More and more people in terms of decision makings would feel this is the right way. This is the right way.
That is true.
So dadami talaga yan kasi lahat kayo feel nyo kaya naman tayo nanalo kasi, like for example, I'm Michael Jordan. Kaya naman tayo nanalo dahil sa akin. But that's not the same thing that Phil Jackson would think.
Yep.
Phil Jackson would think, kaya naman tayo nanalo dahil sa akin.
Yes.
And the same thing for Jerry Krause.
Jerry
Kaya naman
Krause.
tayo nanalo dahil sa akin eh. I made this up, blah, blah, blah. Up until maybe they can all, again, find a way and figure things out to be in the same direction and in one page, wherein they have to resolve
all their
and
issues.
and clear out what is really my role as a manager, as a player, as a coach. And if they can't figure that out, that's what's gonna happen. And ito yung nangyari na yun, na after that first three-peat, nagkaroon sila ng mga konting arguments, as Phil Jackson mentioned in his book, and si Jerry Krause, that they couldn't just resolve. It just ended up, at first they were trying to, be accommodating to each other. Sige, meeting tayo, agree tayo on some things, up until they just couldn't really agree on anything. So after that, ganun na yung nangyari. They just had to, like Jerry Reinsdorf had to contact Phil directly, and he personally had to fly out to Montana to talk to Phil and discuss things about coming back. So ganun yung nangyari sa kanila, that it just ended up the way it ended, which I think, I believe it could have been a few more championships if they just stuck together. I mean, who's coming in during the 99 season?
Sakto, ito yung follow-up question ko. Do you actually think how long can they sustain that? Kasi they won, di ba? The last dance, the last shot. They won their 6th championship. Like, in your perspective, how many more could have they won? Kasi ako sabi ko, they could probably won. A stretch is 2 more. Stretch yung 2 more, and then ano na yan, gradual decline na yan.
Ako, I believe in that. As long as they all stay healthy, I think that would be a probability. Actually, not a probability, a high chance of probability, because Michael at that time was 34 or 35, if I'm
He's
not
like
mistaken.
35, 36.
Somewhere there, diba? And I think he was still able to play the game the way he wants to.
Yep.
And it is a proven fact that he can, if he wants to, not only because of his competitive character. It's evident because he came back to play for the Wizards at 40.
Yes.
And he was able to play. He was able to score 40, 50, or I don't know, 48 ba yun?
Oh, ang dami niya. It was he
Diba?
bro, for a guy who returned, he averaged around 25, 26 points in a season. Diba? Tapos nag-playoffs
diba?
pa.
Yeah. So still for me, if he only continued on and didn't retire, he could play at least three more seasons that he would be able to play a lot of minutes as long as he remains healthy.
Yep.
Okay. Scottie Pippen's issue is different. That I do not know how they're gonna handle that. But I believe
they probably if they just gave him more money. Ako hindi ko rin maintindihan yung part na yun, diba? He was renegotiating his contract, and then even the Bulls owner said, "Do not sign this contract." Ikaw yung may-ari ng team eh. Why not just change the contract? Diba? Why not just change the contract?
Pippen left for Houston after, diba?
Yeah.
Diba? So, parang for me, if Michael would have stayed, if Phil would have stayed, all right, then that renewal of the contract, I don't think it would be a problem, because at that time, sakto na yung 8 years niya eh. From 1990 to 1998. Yun yung 8-year contract niya eh. Tapos na yun eh. So renewal na niya talaga. And I'm not sure about salary cap at that time on how they can figure things out. But I think they would be able to do so if they want to remain intact. Especially with Michael staying and Phil staying. Yun ang hindi ko alam. Alam mo, ang isang gusto ko malaman na hindi lumabas sa documentary is why just take Jerry Krause out of the picture. Ikaw yung ayaw sumali, di ba? So, ikaw na lang yung tanggalin namin. So, yun yung gusto kong itanong kay Jerry Reinsdorf eh. You're the owner.
That is an angle na hindi ko rin nakita. That was
Diba?
actually
You're the
good.
owner. You make decisions definitely. You're the one who's shedding out the money. So why not just, hey Jerry, can you just shut up and
diba? Make this
we're
team
gonna
work.
make this team finish it out all the way through.
Yep.
Up until they can. If they're gonna die, just yung isang one of the journalists mentioned or one of the reporters, if they're gonna die, let it die on its own, diba? Hindi yung tatanggalin mo, puputulin mo.
Yun nga kasi that's another topic that ayan, papunta rin tayo doon eh. Kasi from I think Jerry Krause was always looking ahead. He was always after, like, well, according to him, diba? According to him, he was always after the team's best interest. Pero dun ngayon papasok yung why are you trying to fix something that is not broken eh. Diba? They weren't really a bad team. And he was saying na he's probably looking into the future and trying to make moves in order to rebuild. Diba? Teams will always use this word. They're looking to the future. They're rebuilding. Pero yun nga eh. Me personally, I totally agree. Like, why don't you? That's the judgment call between preparing or rebuilding versus sticking it out with what you have and ride it out until parang you die by the sword, diba? Kumbaga, let's see where this all takes us. And it's something that he probably didn't understand because he wasn't a player. He didn't know the dynamics and the relationship that these players and coaches have that would make them very emotionally attached, diba? Kasi ano yun eh, parang these are like very tricky positions to be in. Very, very. It's gonna be hard if you are the person who's supposed to make those decisions. Pero yun nga lang, it's very baffling na why did diba? It's just 2 more years, diba? Diba? Kaya contract extension uli, diba? Diba? Baka magkaroon ng, diba? Baka magkaroon uli ng ibang last dance, diba?
Yep.
I mean, these are the questions that will always linger in people's minds. Too many what ifs, and I mean, this is just episode 1 to 4. For me, di ba, prior to recording this, we were talking about yung episode 1 to 4. These are like the main introduction pa lang to. I'm very excited on what the other episodes will provide us. Kasi ako, almost all Jordan documentaries, pinanood ko na eh. So, for me, episode 1 to 4 was like, okay, MJ, okay na yan. Saka na natin pag-usapan si MJ. I'm just happy na they gave an episode for Rodman. They gave an episode for Phil. They gave an episode for Scottie, especially in case Scottie, kasi he was very underappreciated. I mean, in terms of management, in terms of a management's perspective, medyo he brought so much value to the team, yet he was very undervalued and underappreciated, diba? So, Coach TY, let's wrap this up. Okay, let's wrap this up. Where can people find you? Where can people find you and your school?
There's my Facebook page. It's TY Tang Basketball School. My IG page is the same. TY Tang Basketball School with my blue and yellow logo as the picture. Tapos, I recently actually did this YouTube thing. Medyo dito sa lockdown natuto ako maging techie ng konti.
Yan. Don't worry, when I upload this episode, I will link TY's YouTube channel in the description box so that you guys can definitely stay connected there. So
it's
Facebook,
just starting. I'm trying to put content in that. It's basically for beginner level basketball players. So again, in this lockdown, kasi I felt that I felt so unproductive, not being able to share my talent, my gift, and this time around, sabi ko, hindi pwede during the lockdown. We can't let this coronavirus thing kill us in terms of our daily routine.
That's
so
true.
I try to find a way every day to still maintain the same activity and routine that I had even prior
Mm-hmm.
coronavirus lockdown. So, yun, I still have to upload more content, and I plan to upload like 2 to 3 times a week
Okay.
for more videos for the beginner level basketball, for especially for the youth, for the
Yes.
aspiring players.
Mm-hmm.
And yun, hopefully they can follow and try to enjoy the workouts and learn basketball
Mm-hmm.
with me.
Yep. And
Yeah.
the Last Dance episode 1 to 4, we will probably have him for the next. So eight episode series siya, di ba? So we'll break
8 ba
down
or 10? Parang 10
10,
yata eh.
10.
May
Sige,
9
so
and 10 pa eh. So,
episode 5 to 10 as well. And then ang tawag dito, we'll have more basketball stories to share. But for now, that is what Coach Franco says. Bye-bye.
Coach Franco Says would like to thank the following sponsors for making this episode possible.
Nuts and Crosses, the best quality gear for your jiu-jitsu training. Order your items on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Awon Coffee, for delicious, locally sourced beans for your daily brew. Order yours now on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Spelled AWON Coffee. Gatorade, because nothing beats Gatorade. For the best DefTac Jiu-Jitsu training out there, check out the following chapters. DefTac Rockwell, DefTac Makati, and DefTac Better Living. Book your classes on their Facebook and Instagram pages. Read news about the local martial arts scene here in the Philippines, visit Local MMA on Facebook, and listen to one of my favorite podcasts, Destroy MNL. I love providing value to my community and helping others get better. You can help me keep making podcast episodes, video tutorials, and sharing information about martial arts, food, and travel. You can support this channel through my PayPal account. Just click the link in the description box to donate. Thank you for your support, and I will keep making content that matters. That's it, everyone. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.